Welcome back to the show. Once again, my name is Namdi. You are watching the Empathy is Money show. Today, I'm going to be taking you through the process of discovering CryptoPunks, array indexing, NFTs, CryptoKitties, ERC-721. How does that technology all work? And we're going to dive deep into it. And we're going to learn, because I want to learn, and I hope that you get some value through this video. So I'm gonna share my screen here so that we can go along together. This is it's a whole new space, an exciting space, and I'm eager to bring it to you guys so we can learn. Okay, I went to the So for me to learn this, I usually refer to non-fungible.com, which is pretty really good website, really good database of these guys have done a pretty good job of putting together articles of information, and this one is again about this is around the CryptoPunks NFT craze that went along. In a single year, the historic Lava Labs project managed to surpass the performance of the previous 3 years, over 700% in terms of USD volume. So you can understand the volume or understand this. It's important to remember a total of 3,447 punks found the initial estimate of their value as determined by 1,645 collectors who negotiated with the historical owners of the airdrop. Through their original nature and unique technological dimension, the first owners have naturally developed an attachment to their punks over time. So going back to the beginning of this article, we know that CryptoPunks was originated around May 2017. There are about 10,000 of them. Firstly, CryptoPunks' very design was disruptive. Before the ICO or CryptoKitties craze began, Lava Labs team managed to create 10,000 tokens on the ERC-20 standard. Each punk represented a pixel art image generated by AI. Lava Labs choosing to use ERC-20 standard was a surprise, as this standard was not suitable for such a diverse distribution. With a few more months of waiting, ERC-721 would have served them much more efficiently in terms of distribution, and yet all it took was for the Lava Labs team to announce their tokens would be given to anyone with a compatible Ethereum wallet, and all the CryptoPunks were claimed within days. Who would have thought that more than 3 years later, and this experimental project would generate a volume of more than $3 million in sales? That's quite impressive. So CryptoPunks is it's an art, it's collectible. It's built on the ERC-721 blockchain, which is and we're gonna go deep into that. That's the Ethereum blockchain, launched in May 2017 by Lava Labs. All right, between 2018 and 2019, around collectors, it took about because that was around the down market or the bear market. So it took, out of 10,000 NFTs, only 720 of them were sold to 28 new collectors during the last 6 months of 2017. It's also important to note that a huge quantity of CryptoPunks were kept in a safe place during the Ethereum surge of up to $1,200. Unlike CryptoKitties, which can be generated as many times as you want, the fixed quantity of CryptoPunks begs the question of the scarcity of a digital artwork on a blockchain in the NFT ecosystem. Whether generated by an AI or a human, the blockchain proves the authenticity of a digital creation in a tamper-proof way. This signature is one of the central criteria of this value of a blockchain work, and thanks to the arrival of super rare and other art-based marketplaces, many artists have been able to grow in this market in the process bring it to attention of a wider audience. By 2020, NFTs only serve to increase the value of punks as they are the Ethereum pioneers of such projects. So it seems like there was only 10,000 of CryptoPunks made. So the rarity drove interest. By 2019, which was the year of the birth of crypto art, and an entire community of people behind NFTs, the real public interest began towards the end of the year, only continuing to grow well into 2020. Around April of 2020, USD volume started to build. Even so, sales for the last 6 months of the year were through enough to generate over $400,000, which is more than the first 3 years of CryptoPunks combined. As for collectors and especially new punks purchased, there too the number exploded during the first 6 months of the year. 82 new collectors joined the ranks of 110 historical secondary owners of CryptoPunks. Seemingly, these newcomers were more curious than the older ones. In June 2020, 594 never before sold punks are to change owners and find a place in the new market. September of 2020 alone generated $1 million in total sales, and 651 punks have been shared among 138 new collectors. So, just to wrap it up, this means that there are still a little over 6,500 CryptoPunks from May 2017 that have not been sold. Their low liquidity combined with their seniority makes CryptoPunks an asset class to watch very closely in the coming years. So there are a few things that stand out to me in this article piece here is the technology behind CryptoPunks. Second question is, why did CryptoPunks, above all other existing NFTs, why did CryptoPunks take off? These are the questions that I want to know. So right here, I find an interview on protocol.com. This is an interview that was with, Dylan Field, the CEO of Figma. I think this is the guy who bought the first CryptoPunk. It's called CryptoPunk 7804. He got involved in CryptoPunk really early, or NFT space really early, by virtue of the community that he was in or the people around him. First, he was a Theo fellow. He was in San Francisco. He was around a large crypto community. And at the time, this was 2017, he didn't really care about crypto. I mean, he thought it was crazy. But just being around people talking about it all the time, he started to get interested in it. I believe his girlfriend at the time, or his current wife, was an Ethereum coder, and she was part of a big hackathon. So that also got him interested. So he purchased this CryptoPunk and held on to it, kept quiet about it for a while, until at some point he decided he needed to start talking about it. So he joined the Discord community, and he first launched it he launched that particular CryptoPunk as his avatar, and then he started talking about it, and then he took a bold move at some point and decided to try to sell it, put a bid on it, try to sell it, and everything took off from there. So I wanted to understand the what's behind it. What's behind CryptoPunk? Why CryptoPunk? So somewhere around here, he explains that essentially with CryptoPunks, what you get is an array in an entry in an array. There's an array from 0 to 9,999 for the 10,000 punks, and that array indexes to a two-dimensional image. Basically, 01 is in the top left and 9,999 is in the bottom right. The image is not stored on Ethereum. It's just an image that exists in the world somewhere. And then you are bidding real money on an array index, which is crazy. So then I'm wondering, what is an array index? So I look up. We're going to go into it because I looked up more about what an array index is. Array index it's like a code. It's like let me type that up so we can actually understand it. So right here, you can basically just see that right here in this article, it explains the anatomy of ERC 720 on understanding non-fungible Ethereum tokens. This is an article written by Gerald Nash on 2017. Many have heard of the new game on the Ethereum blockchain called CryptoKitties. The new game recently made several headlines within the cryptocurrency community because of its extremely unique idea and the dent it's made on the Ethereum network. CryptoKitties is a game in which players can buy, sell, trade, and breed digital cats. They can be thought of as breedable beanie babies, and in that, each cat is unique in some way. This uniqueness makes the CryptoKitties extremely collectible, as someone could take interest in the characteristics of several kittens and wish to own many of them. But collectibles aren't limited to digital felines. Humans have always had a history of collecting things. It's nothing new. From physical coins to Pokemon cards, people love collecting. It's a hobby that forms as a result of a unique interest in scarce items, similar to how the value of a commodity is related to its scarcity. The value of a collectible item to a collector is connected to its rareness among other items. We can emulate rare collectible items with Ethereum tokens, and each of these tokens follows a novel standard in the Ethereum community known as ERC 721, or otherwise known as Ethereum Request for Comments 721, or ERC 721. It is an Ethereum improvement proposal introduced by Dieter Shirley in late 2017. It's a proposed standard that would allow smart contracts to operate as tradable tokens similar to ERC20, ERC 721. Tokens are unique in that the tokens are non-fungible. This is interesting. If you want to go deep into understanding Ethereum blockchain and how it operates, you can always dive deeper into it if you want. But I'm going to move on. This is interesting to know that there's ERC20, which most people who are into Ethereum understood. And then in 2017, Dieter Shirley introduced another proposal, ERC 721, that allows for non-fungibility of tokens. And if you understand non-fungibility of tokens, it just generally means that you can't copy it or you can't reproduce that same particular token. There's a connection to the original piece or the original token each time it gets traded. Fungible. Well, here it is. It actually explains it. Let's go right in. Let's dive right in. Fungible, being something such as money or a commodity of such a nature that one part or quantity may be replaced by another equal part or quantity in paying a debt or settling an account. Fungibility is essentially a characteristic of an asset or token, in this case, that determines whether items or quantities of the same or similar type can be completely interchangeable during exchange or utility. For example, the US $5 bill below can be used to purchase the soda from a convenience store. It has value and can be used to purchase items with the same or less value. However, when one goes to purchase a soda with the following baseball card, the store owner won't accept it. Why wouldn't the above baseball card be accepted by the store owner when it's worth $5? Same as the above bill. This is because the baseball card and the dollar bill have different characteristics that define their value to certain people. A 7-year-old could be willing to pay $7 for the baseball card because they like the colors on the card, but the store owner doesn't even value the card at $5 simply because it wasn't issued by the Federal Reserve like the dollar is. Unique attributes that baseball card and dollar bills have are what take away their fungibility, as they are valued differently depending on the exchange and cannot always be used interchangeably. So, like I've always known, money is what we determine it to be, what the people who use it determine it to be, as illustrated in this particular example with the $5 bill and this baseball card. $5 bill, we conventionally agree, we all agree, the Federal Reserve of the United States of America has assigned that value to that particular $5 note. And so we trade that $5 note, all agreeing that it is worth $5 across the board. But a baseball card, what I'm willing to pay for it is different from what you're willing to pay for it, depending on how we value it. There's no standard or defining body or centralized body that determines the value of this baseball card, and we all agree on that value. So hence the $5 bill is fungible, and this baseball card is non-fungible. So in terms of collectible items, two items in a collection are not fungible if they have different characteristics. For physical coins, a gold coin is not fungible with a copper coin because there are different characteristics that give them different values to collectors. ERC 721 tokens can be used in any exchange, but their value is a result of the uniqueness and rareness associated with each token. Okay. Also, keep in mind so ERC 20 like functions. ERC 721 defines a few functions that give it some compliance with ERC 20 token standard. It does this to make it easier for existing wallets to display simple information about the token. These functions let the smart contract that fits this standard act like a common cryptocurrency, such as Bitcoin or Ethereum, by defining functions that let users perform actions such as sending tokens to others and checking balances of accounts. So that basically means that with ERC 721 tokens, it lets smart contracts that fit this standard act like a common cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin or ETH by defining functions that let users perform actions such as sending tokens to others and checking balances of accounts. And then it goes deeper into how ERC 20 functions, like the name of it, symbol, total supply, balance of, ownership functions. And then it goes deeper into ownership functions. Who owns it? How do you approve it? How do you transfer it? Just metadata from functions. You're welcome to read more into this stuff. I'm gonna dive right into it deeper because I think that just understanding this it can give you an idea so that when I believe, I'm a total believer in, if you're gonna put your money into something, you need to understand it. And while I make this effort to understand ERC 20 and how they function, I hope that you can dive right in and understand it with me. So ERC20 is split up into, now right here it says the standard are defined by the functions, which are name, symbol, total supply, balance of, owner of, approve, take ownership, transfer, take owner of, owner by index, and token metadata. It also defines the transfer and approval. So a concise declaration of an example of ERC 721 contract. So right here we have a 721 contract here from GitHub, and it basically just tells you exactly how this will explain everything about who gets what, who owns what the token is, the name, and all that, the total supply. So the name function is used to tell outside contracts and applications the name of the token. An example implementation of this function can be contract my NFT function name, constant returns, string name, and so on. Anyway, I'm not going to go into this, but let's go back into CryptoPunks. This is a piece of note that I pulled out that I thought was interesting. There's the algorithm of how punks were generated in the first place. They had this algorithm that will remix all these different characteristics infinitely, and then it took a random sampling of 10,000 of the different images that came up. They could have had millions, but they just took with 10,000 of them. This is a random collection of the universe of punks. So maybe that's art. So I would imagine that if you even took a random picture of something and you used the algorithm behind, the ERC 721 array indexing, and you indexed those images, let's say first, if in this case it was 10,000 of them, they arrayed of all of them from 0 to 9,999 of them, and that's the art. So it's placed on that Ethereum protocol, and the particular one that what's his name, Dylan Field bought, this particular CryptoPunk 78804. He says that it seems to be art too in terms of the individual piece of art. But what I've come around to is the belief that the community itself is the art piece. The market, the discussions that are being had, the community that's forming, it really does care so much about the project and is loving it into existence. That is the art piece itself. These interactions were all happening around the punks ecosystem. And on the side of what does it mean to own art, if you look at Geneva Freeport, it's basically a warehouse that houses almost $100 billion worth of art. If you have something in the Freeport, which is art, and you own the right to that art, and you own a smart contract in an array, maybe they're kind of the same thing. I think there are parallels in the existing art world to this sort of structure. This is really cool. So basically, if you have any piece of art, it could be music, it could be even a title to real estate, title to a property. I'm thinking of just about any physical thing. You can place it in this. You can index it into an array, into an EC 721 array, and have people bid on it or sell it. But beyond that particular piece, there's also the need for a community around it, because if there's no buzz, if there's no one talking about it, then no one's going to trade it. No one's going to care about it. The art is also in the community, which is what Dylan is explaining here. If it behooves all of us in this age to start forming communities and creating communities. And when you create a community of people around a particular interest, then that community are going to be the ones to support the art and trade it and give it value and love it into existence, as Dylan explains here. So in this interview that he did with Source Code, which I found was very revealing, He dives real deep into what he perceives is the force that behind the CryptoPunks craze and how it became as popular and how it made him a lot of money. A lot of people who are in, I myself included, who are in tokens and NFTs, in addition to understanding how the ingenuity behind it, we also interested in the economic interest, in economic benefits and profits around it. We want to make money from it. So I'm, and right here he wraps up by saying, I think it's awesome. What I thought was coolest about it was how Metacoven was really thinking. How do I produce something around this? One of the things that's amazing with digital art is there's no clear answer at this point. It is infinitely remixable. Metacoven is really trying to do more production around the Beeple art. And I think that they are very excited about Decentraland and the idea of making it so that people are able to kind of come into digital museums in the metaverse, these virtual spaces in order to interact with this art. I mean, it's awesome what you want to do around that. I think it's great. This is really cool. So if you imagine like Decentraland and virtual spaces, I imagine a world in the future where we can go to these different places. Think about just about anything that exists in the physical world, whether it's a ball game, a theater, a ball stadium, or a show, or just, you can create these spaces in virtual worlds, put the people in there, put the artwork in there, create the show, even videos, music, you can put all that in there. And eventually we are going to be interfacing with these worlds. I think we're at a very, very early stage of virtual world, virtual art, virtual IP. And if you're interested in this stuff, I would recommend that you dive deeper into it. This was just a short video I wanted to make to understand a little bit of an understanding of how CryptoPunks, Kitties, and other NFTs, how they operate, the mindset behind it. I think that what I've drawn from it so far is that in one place right here, I think this diagram actually explains it. So on one end is, it's over here. So on one end is the physical art or the physical IP, right? And then you put it in an ERC 721 standard, which is an Ethereum blockchain standard protocol. Then from that point, you can trade it digitally. You can use it in a virtual world, which I think that the more rare it is and the more community is around it, it gives it more value. So go out there, you amazing people and empaths, learn about NFTs and start creating your own digital world. Yes, we're new. A lot of people don't know about it, but doesn't mean that it's going away. So venture out, learn, and create your own crypto art, your own NFTs. Let's bring the virtual world and the real world together. We'll see you next time. Bye.